Hello and welcome back to the Football Chat podcast. It's episode 105 today, where we'll be discussing Antonio Conte, whether he should be sacked, and an overall debate on Tottenham's managerial situation. It's quite an interesting one, this, isn't it? It's something we've never really seen. Not in recent years at least, not in recent memory. We've got a manager quite blatantly just slagging off his players in the media. I mean, it's bizarre, isn't it?
It's ridiculous. He's slagging off the players, slagging off the owners, slagging off the fact they haven't got any history.
That's brilliant.
Equally, the only thing I would say is that everything he said is true. Obviously, we'll touch on that a bit later, but a very bizarre situation. I think he's made it very clear his thoughts and feelings around Tottenham, and Antonio Conte once again is proving that he is a Chelsea man.
Yeah, but it's the sort of thing you expect from Mourinho, isn't it?
Yeah.
In his third year, when he's on his way out, but. Yeah, it's just not worked out for Conte. Tottenham has clearly a lot of disgruntlements behind the scenes, and that's spilling over into the media.
Yeah.
And now Conte's leaving some quite interesting quotes.
The thing is,
the press.
As he said, he's tried to hide it since he joined, but now he just can't be bothered.
Well, yeah. Well, what is the point in him hiding it anymore? I think it's quite obvious he won't have a job come the summer, and we're going to discuss the reasons for why that is, and we're going to discuss the reasons why he's not been sacked yet. I think it's first more interesting to look at those Antonio Conte comments. I picked a couple out. We could have gone through them all, but there's,
from a neutral point of view, it's hilarious. Or from a Tottenham fan, it must be awful to hear. But from a neutral point of view, it's absolutely hilarious.
I think you'd have to laugh. If not, you're going to cry. But yeah, it is a few. I won't attempt a Italian accent because I think that will border on a hate crime. But he said things like, "I see selfish players that don't want to help each other, and don't put heart into this." So. Already really going at the players there. And then he says, I only see 11 players that play for themselves. And then, of course, on Tottenham's story is this: for 20 years as the owner, but they've never won anything. Why? I mean, it's just amusing, isn't it?
And also, the one I remember was obviously the first one that kind of spooled over when Richarlison said that he had a shit season, and kind of went out and said, he wasn't saying that Tottenham's season was shit. He was saying Richarlison's shit, and that he agrees with what Richarlison said. So it's just not been great.
No, and is Conte just making himself a real a problem? Because if you're going to look at bringing in a manager now, are you seriously going to bring in a manager that's quite blatantly slagged off everything at the club? I think he's really damaging his career by doing this.
Yeah, it is a very bad situation for both parties. His client's having an effect on both. The only thing I would say is that Conte isn't known. He isn't known for slagging off his players or belittling his club in the media. Look at Chelsea. Didn't see a hint of that.
Well, until
obviously he
didn't do anything in the media, but he did have quite a public disagreement with Diego Costa at the time, and obviously that led to Chelsea's star man leaving the club.
That's Diego Costa. I think Diego Costa had a disagreement with about 95% of people on the planet.
Maybe, but I just feel Antonio Conte, maybe he is. You'd imagine he's always, but you don't suddenly become a disgruntled character. He probably has had this in the past, but now he's reached that point where he genuinely doesn't care.
You mentioned that Diego Costa one. Do you look at it and go, look at the type of players that he is having a go at here, or he's battling in the media? It's players with big egos, very, not aggressive, very, whiny players.
Yeah.
I look at Diego Costa, I look at Richarlison. They're the type of players who are very big-headed, but and sometimes when they're knocked down to earth a bit, they don't like it.
Conte's a bit of a weird. He's a bit of an enigma as a manager because. Never won the Champions League, Antonio Conte.
No.
Never won the Europa League, I don't think.
No.
As far as I can remember. So no European success to speak of. Of course, he's won the Scudetto with both Inter and Juventus. He's also won the Premier League with Chelsea and finished 5th with Tottenham. I don't know. But he's done a lot of different things in his career, but he's never got those pinnacles. No. He's never managed internationally, so he couldn't have won any of those major competitions. But he's not won anything that I would consider major. Of course, he's won league titles, and that's huge, but he's in that weird sort of ground where he's not a bad manager. He's clearly one of the best managers in the world, or at least was at a certain time. But for whatever reason, it's never really worked out for him on the Europe's biggest stage. It's quite interesting, obviously.
I mean, he is an exceptional manager.
Yeah, that much is evident.
And I don't think his time at Tottenham, people shouldn't forget how good a manager he actually is. I think, just to touch on Tottenham a little bit, and also go deeper, but it says something about Tottenham when Jose Mourinho and Antonio Conte go in there and they can't fix anything.
Yeah, I mean, it's fascinating, isn't it? Tottenham, since they've sacked Pochettino, really haven't got it right with managerial appointments, but on paper, they all seemed fantastic.
Yeah.
Nuno Espirito Santo, he's a project manager. They brought him in after his fantastic spell at Wolves. You would expect him to buy good talents at cheap prices, develop them and build a real squad there. For whatever reason, that didn't work out. They bring in Jose Mourinho, who is a title specialist. Mourinho wins stuff everywhere he goes. Not even him could win something. Not even he could win something at Tottenham.
Manager of all time.
Arguably, there's a case to be made. He's won Champions League with Porto. He's won a Champions League with Inter. He won multiple Premier Leagues with Chelsea, and of course Real Madrid. He had unparalleled, well, not unparalleled success, but a very good spell there. And yet he couldn't win anything at Tottenham. It's the only club in his career where he hasn't won something major. Manchester United, he won the Europa League. That's the last time Man United won a trophy until their recent Carabao Cup success. But Tottenham are the only club he's failed at.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Antonio Conte, also known for winning trophies. He's got multiple FA Cups and Premier Leagues. He's got experience in the English division, and he couldn't do anything with Tottenham.
They've brought in Premier League experienced managers who have battled. I mean, obviously Nuno maybe not so much, but he's still in the Europa League places with Wolves. Teams that have battled, managers that have battled at the top of the Premier League, they came into Tottenham, nowhere near.
Yeah. So where does the fault lie? Is it that the players that they've brought in haven't done well enough? Is it the board aren't investing enough money? Is it a mixture of the both? Are they bringing in the wrong players? There's so many different facets of Tottenham that we could spend hours discussing, like how on earth the club has been run over the last few years.
I think,
but it's a mess. It's a complete mess.
The club overall is awful. The players don't want to be there.
I mean, every Tottenham fan I've spoken to is just disillusioned with the club right now, especially considering Conte's not gone. Like, you can't expect fans to just sit back and go, yeah, fair enough, when the bloke's literally just going, this club's a joke, aren't they? But,
you don't, as any manager, no matter how bad things are going, inside the club, you never say anything to the media. The players don't want to be there.
We've seen it in the
fans
past,
are furious.
when
the board don't invest enough money.
When there's disgruntlements from the managers regarding the higher-ups, we've seen it. They criticise them, but I've never seen a manager criticise the players in the way, but also the board. We've seen, both sides. We've seen managers criticise players, we've seen managers criticise the board. I've never seen a manager criticise everything and still have a job. That's the pivotal thing here. Conte's still employed by Tottenham.
He genuinely went into an interview and said, 20 years, no trophies with this owner.
Yeah.
No, why?
Why? But yeah, I think Conte's not happy about the investment or the lack of investment.
Really?
But equally, Tottenham had one of their biggest transfer spend in years. You got think back to the summer. Obviously, Fraser Forster was a big coup. They obviously, more importantly, brought in the likes of Ivan Perisic on a free. That was a good bit of business. They brought in Yves Bissouma. They brought in Richarlison. That's 4 transfers. That's more than they usually. They've had windows under Pochettino where they made 0 transfers, consecutive windows.
You look at it and go, that team on paper is good enough to be challenging for trophies. It really is.
But is it the system? Is it some of the individuals in the squad?
You have Son, Kane, and Kulusevski as a front three. How on earth you're not challenging neither way? But it's just also it's the lack of investment in certain areas. Yeah, you've got a brilliant front three. Yes, you've got 3 fantastic midfield options. But you've got Clement Longley and Eric Dyer at the back.
Yeah, but Dyer's an England international. Longley played for Barcelona for a number of years. Romero's a good defender when he's not deciding to run at people and just boom in the shins.
He's booming at the shins 90% of the time. So he's only a good defender 10% of the time.
Indeed,
but he's a World Cup winner.
And that's the thing.
They've got a Euros finalist, a World Cup winner, and a bloke who used to play for Barcelona.
They've got 2 World Cup winners. Hugo Lloris, of course, won in 2018.
Was Longley there?
No. I don't know.
I just knew he was French.
I don't think he was in the squad. I think it was in Titi and Kimpembe.
You've got a team that is full of title winners, and you've never won a title.
It's fascinating, isn't it? It begs the question: does this lead to Tottenham's biggest players leaving? Will Harry Kane leave this summer?
I mean, again though, that's another player. He has not wanted to leave, but if you have a player that's been rumoured to leave for the last 4 seasons, why is he still there?
There's so many weird things at Tottenham, aren't there? Like, they've got no squad, but they've got probably the best stadium in the Premier League.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe you could say at Anfield and Old Trafford ahead of it.
All the fans pay so much money to watch these games. It's a lovely fishbowl, and they watch complete crap.
I mean, Conte's system, literally, I feel for you Tottenham fans. Like, go get counselling, go get therapy, because I've watched a couple Tottenham games this season, unfortunately.
As a neutral, I want to cry.
And they are the most boring team on the planet. They sit so deep and do nothing going forwards. It's just nothing ever happens.
It was a similar system for Antonio Conte at Chelsea, and he won the Premier League. So who does that
But it
fall
isn't
on?
the same system, and it's not the same era.
Yeah,
if you bring Fergie 4-4-2 into the modern day, I'm not saying it's going to get run over, but it's not going to be as successful. You've got to consider that time periods change, systems change, football changes, it evolves.
Yeah.
Conte seemingly hasn't evolved with it. His system doesn't work anymore, but also I don't know if he's applied it in the same way that he did with that Chelsea team.
Yeah, but then I think also then you look at modern managers, modern era, new tactics. Look at Nuno Espirito Santo, a fairly modern manager with a modern tactic, and it still didn't work.
Literally his third job in management,
and it still doesn't work. Whatever Tottenham try, it never works.
It does beg the question: where do Tottenham look in the summer? Who do you bring? If you're put yourself in Paratici's shoes. God, they're huge. I don't know what size of feet. I might have tiny feet, but put yourself in Paratici's shoes for a moment. Who are you appointing?
And this is what I touched on when I said that Conte's comments were bad for both Conte and the club. Because who on earth, what manager on the planet is going to listen to what Conte said and go, tell you what, I fancy that job? It'd be a massive paycheck on the line.
Well, yeah, someone with aspirations, currently a smaller team, you'd have to guess.
But who?
Well, my personal...
If you go look at the, I don't know, Bromley manager, he'll probably fancy it.
My personal sort of hat in the ring, that's a saying, isn't it? Would be Sporting's manager Ruben Amorim.
I don't think he would do that.
Why not?
He can challenge for trophies. Look at how they did in the Champions
I think he'd take the investment, especially considering that Tottenham have played a 3-4-3. I don't know if they want to move away from that, but if they're happy with the current system, they just want someone to implement it much better. Ruben Amorim is the perfect coach. I think if you're sticking with the Portuguese league, Peter Schmidt, but I don't think you're going to get him out of Benfica right now, but they're playing some beautiful football. I would have him as a sort of outside bet. I think Benfica could win the Champions League.
That's the problem.
I've been saying this for the last couple of days. I think Benfica will reach the final. So could you then get Schmidt?
Aren't Sporting in the Europa League as well?
Sporting will play Juventus in the
Why would
Europa
Amorim leave? He's like,
oh no, you do not. They're not getting Amorim now.
Oh no,
but you look at the summer.
But I mean, if he wins the Europa League, why is he then going to jump ship? Because he's already in that 5 months where Tottenham decided who they want to get in. He's already got more success in the whole club.
Because that's the ceiling for Sporting. Sporting realistically in the next 10 years can't win a Champions League. They're probably going to struggle for League of Portugal because Porto and Benfica seem to have relative dominance over that.
I think there's more chance of Sporting than challenging the next
Obviously, Sporting won the recent one. Well, that's not true.
Well, I don't know.
Sporting can't invest the sort of money a Premier League side can.
Yeah,
and that's why we haven't seen a Portuguese winner of the Champions League for years.
You invest money into...
No, but if you start using money more intelligently.
I was about to slag off their recruitment. Their recruitment was brilliant.
Well, that's the thing. When you identify Yves Bissouma and still can't get any performance out of him, it's like, how can Tottenham improve? Because it's not like their recruitment staff's done horrendously. No. In the past, we can slag them off because Soldado is not a footballer that should be in the Premier League. But Yves Bissouma is a quality player and he looks tragic at Tottenham. You look at Richarlison, one of the best players in the league last year. He scored 1 goal, I think, for Tottenham.
Yeah, he hasn't scored in the Premier League yet for Tottenham.
Has he not? No. Not even got a goal yet?
No, because he scored twice and he's done...
Pedro Porro's outscored him.
It was hilarious because the first time he scored, he took his shirt off and the goal got disallowed by VAR. The second time he scored, which was pretty recently, he shushed Conte and then VAR disallowed the goal again. So he still hasn't scored a Premier League goal for Tottenham.
But also, as I mentioned there, Pedro Porro just coming to the side. He used to work under Ruben Amorim. Well, he just scored at the weekend. after in the 3-3 draw with Southampton.
Exactly.
Which is what prompted the comments from Antonio Conte. But
I mean, I understand. You're 3-1 up at Southampton, you lose, and you draw 3. It feels like.
But is that not on you as the manager?
No.
Tottenham played the most defensive football and they conceded twice in the last 6 minutes. How?
Because Eric Dyer's on the football pitch.
But that doesn't.
Fraser Forster's in goal.
But Forster's done well.
But
It's harsh to say Forster's done badly. And I think
he's like
obviously England
6'7".
call up now for Fraser
That is a
Forster
joke.
because there's no other fit English goalkeepers.
I'd have gone Ramsdale, Pope, and Darl.
Well, Pope had to pull out.
I'd have gone Ramsdale. Who's the other one?
Forster.
No, it's Ramsdale, Pickford. Obviously, how on earth? I mean, but yeah, I'd have gone Jack Butland.
Obviously not, but that's why Fraser Forster's been called up. But and obviously Dean Henderson currently still out injured as well.
Just to make just a different point, but related to Tottenham, would be that they've changed managers, they've changed players, they've changed personnel. The one thing they haven't changed is the owner.
Yeah, but the owner can't change the owner.
Yeah, I know.
Unless he sells.
I know, but that is the only thing that hasn't changed in Tottenham. Because they've changed everything else and nothing's worked.
But who buys Tottenham right
Nobody. No one. Who wants
There is no
Tottenham?
legacy there. You've got a nice stadium, sure. But I'm sure there's debt. There's no way Tottenham don't have a serious amount of debt. And that stadium looks expensive.
Oh, yeah, I couldn't
And
afford it.
Levy's not investing much. You can afford it. You can buy the Tottenham Hotspur stadium.
I can't afford a seat in it, so let alone a whole stadium.
Indeed, but I just don't see Tottenham as an appealing asset right now. If you're looking to purchase a club in England, you look at Liverpool, you look at Manchester United, both currently up for sale. You even look at like Grimsby and go, that is more appealing.
I'd rather buy Grimsby.
Because Grimsby's still going to be a lot less expensive with a lot more passionate
I
fans.
can understand why Ryan Reynolds bought Wrexham over any other team. Or over Tottenham.
I can understand why you buy clubs lower because obviously you can get them for cheaper and then build them up.
There's probably more
Same
chance
amount
of
of money.
Wrexham win the Champions League than Tottenham do.
Well, at some point in the future, you never know. But I don't know. I think Tottenham will lay their hands on silverware. Obviously, it's now been 17 years since their was it Carling Cup win?
Yeah, but I
In
think you also
2006,
won the
I
Audi
wanna
Cup.
say.
Remember that? Big trophy win, that. They can't even win pre-season tournaments. Genuinely, it is embarrassing.
But yeah, there's a lot to fix in the summer. I'm sure a lot of our content will revolve around that. But yeah, on Antonio Conte then, because I feel we've drifted onto Tottenham, and I'm sure we'll talk about Tottenham again at some point. Today's video is on Conte. I know we've gone a bit of a tangent as we tend to, but the players want him out, understandable. The fans want him out. Why haven't they sacked Antonio Conte?
It could cost them a lot of money.
Well, that's the exact point, isn't it? Antonio Conte, if they were to sack him, they're going to have to pay him compensation.
And
probably about £2 million, I reckon. That's the usual compensation for a manager. Why pay that when he's going to be gone a few months anyway? There's nothing left to play for this season.
Tottenham will look at it from if they could get someone lined up, they would. But there's no one. Even Steven Gerrard's got a new job.
Who do you get at this stage? Where's Gerrard gone?
Channel 4.
Right. I was going to say, I've not said anything about Gerrard going anywhere, but...
No, he's now Channel 4 signed on. Not even Sky or BT wanted him, not even Amazon. Channel 4.
Well, to be fair, Amazon only have about 2 games a year, so...
But yeah, Conte, there is no one to replace him. It's a lot of money to get rid of him.
There is, but I don't think you're going to get an upgrade on Antonio Conte right now. I think if you, in the summer you need to look at a manager that is a project manager.
Yeah, but also
someone that's going to be there for the long run.
Though, you look at the big managers on the market right now. Zidane, not a chance. Tuchel, not a chance. Who else? Is anyone else?
Luis Enrique?
Yeah, not a chance. They wouldn't. Why would you want to go there?
You could probably get
Kjetil
Knudsen.
I think Conte knows what he's doing because those comments he's made, no managers are going to look at it and go, I don't want that atmosphere.
Yeah, he's hurting Tottenham really, isn't he? But
yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see how this whole situation unfolds. I don't think they will sack Conte unless he agrees to go for free, because Conte's going to happily take the check. Either you give me the money now, or we're going to long this out until the summer. But either way, Conte won't be here. Won't be at Tottenham come July.
If he's there next season, I will be very, very surprised.
It's going to take a miracle. It's going to
genuinely.
An absolute miracle. But Yeah, they looked a little better under Stellini, didn't they? Christian Stellini. Could you see Conte sort of
But what did he do?
going away with another sort of illness? I'm not doubting that he was probably ill, but it did seem like at that point because he came back, didn't he, and then went away again. It seemed like he went, "No, I'm not."
And then when he came back, he just started slagging off his old team.
Yeah. But yeah, Conte.
What does Stellini do that Conte
managing
doesn't?
them.
Unless he just makes the players feel better.
Well, probably. I don't think that's going to take much work.
You rock up.
Well, does Stellini? You haven't called any of them a massive bellend in the media yet. You're great. We love you. But
you're all so visual. Shit.
Yeah.
But he's just honest.
You look at some of the best teams in football right now, and they create such a strong culture, such a strong identity.
Look at Arsenal.
Tottenham have no identity. There's no relationship between the player and the managers. It's so spiteful and hateful. You've got players shushing the own manager.
Yeah,
it's such a bizarre situation.
Do you think that obviously the modern player managers actually work better? So the likes of Arteta, we saw Frank Lampard did. Do they work better with getting a united team?
Well, maybe they do because they've had that experience. Yeah. They were in the dressing room. They've been the other side of that line.
I think I look at Lampard at Derby and Chelsea, and even Everton. I look at Arteta at Arsenal. I look at Xavi at Barcelona.
The one thing you can say in all of those scenarios is they didn't lose the dressing room.
Yeah.
Lampard got sacked,
but
it was quite evident the Everton players still had a strong liking. And of course, Chelsea don't hate him.
No.
That'd be mental.
If any Chelsea player hated Frank Lampard, they wouldn't be at the club anymore.
Well, they might be, but
if it came out,
and then I was about to say Steven Gerrard, but
there was no unity.
He didn't get sacked by Rangers, and then
every single man hated him.
Indeed, but maybe that's an interesting question. Should Tottenham go and get a former player? I've heard that Jermaine Genius.
Oh please, are we hilarious? But Ryan Mason will be the only one. He managed a cup final and got battered by City.
Yeah, probably not the greatest idea. But that's the thing. I look at Tottenham ex-players and I go, none of them are any good. Like Bale, he's not going to come back. Modric, why is he going to do that?
Imagine that Tottenham's
Ledley King, maybe. Like Gaza. Genuinely, who do you
their
get?
best bet would be Yaya Toure because he's managing their youth team.
Exactly. He's not a Tottenham legend though, is he?
No.
Well, Tottenham have.
No one.
They've got legends, but none of them are coming back to manage.
Yeah, there's the reason they left.
But it's an interesting situation.
Would Ryan Mason be a good call? Saying you could
just
he's already involved in the club setup. You could just promote him.
No. You're not bringing in Ryan Mason as a full-time manager. I think you need someone with vision. You need a good young manager. Someone like Kjetil Knudsen. Someone like Ruben Amorim, as I've mentioned already. Anthony Areola, of course, of Rayo Vallecano. Someone like that can really get their teeth into the job. But expectation has to be removed from Tottenham.
Yeah.
They have to stop going, we have to win a cup, we have to get Champions League, and they have to set their egos aside. Kane has to be sold.
Yeah.
Like, he's scored a ridiculous amount of goals, but that £100 million can be invested elsewhere.
And
in my opinion. No, I'm sure there's Tottenham fans that disagree.
The one way to keep Richarlison happy is to play him. If you sell Kane, you give Richarlison that starting spot.
He's good enough. He's proved that time and time again in the Premier League, but he hasn't been going enough minutes for Tottenham.
You have to buy players that aren't Emerson Royal and Ben Davies.
Stop buying right wing backs. Just
genuinely.
Whatever you do, no more wing backs. Just stop. Because
Ryan Sessegnon's good enough.
Tottenham are stuck now. How can they play a fullback?
You've got Perisic and Porro.
What? Porro's done alright.
Emerson
Royale's looked better.
I'd rather play DJ Spence.
But how do Tottenham currently have so many wing backs?
Three. Who needs three?
If any manager came in right now and tried to play a fullback, it wouldn't work because they don't have any.
They have three of each wing back.
They've got a winger who plays wing back. They've got Sessegnon. They've got Porro. They've got not Doherty.
Davies plays on the left.
Doherty's he's more of a left centre half.
But they've got Doherty. They've got Doherty right out.
Doherty's left. He's joined Atletico Madrid. But they've still got Spence coming on loan at Rennes, and they've got Porro and Emerson Royal. So currently 4.
Spence out on
obviously Spence will come back from Rennes.
I didn't realise that.
No, they sent him in January because he played about 15 seconds.
So genuinely touched the grass and got it. No.
So I don't think he's
long
really
on
give it a shot.
That was panic.
He's
just been crap. Don't even try.
No. I was going to talk about GJ Spence because I feel horrible for him.
Oh yeah.
But that was linked with linked with Chelsea, and of course returning to Forest. He chose Tottenham. He believed in the project, and he's been given no minutes.
I have no clue why.
Nothing.
Who has
not even a sniff of a chance to
who's ever looked at Chelsea, Tottenham, and Forest and gone Tottenham? I'd rather go Nottingham Forest.
Indeed, and that Forest project was quite the.
It looks like it's on the up at the moment.
Well, indeed, yeah. But they went and got Aurier, who looked tragic at Tottenham and has looked brilliant for Forest. Yeah. It's just hilarious. And you look at the history of Tottenham players that have left and won something instantly. It's just remarkable. Actually remarkable.
Just to finish up then.
It happens every time.
Where does Conte go after Tottenham?
Juve, probably.
Yeah.
I think it makes the most sense. Juve in a lot of trouble right now. Conte's going to go back and help him.
Pog probably sold.
No, so far Juve's new sporting director, I think.
But he's always skiing.
I don't remember if they brought someone else in.
Or rapping, or getting his hair dyed.
Has Pogba done any rapping?
Yeah, he's been in a rapping video, I think.
Of course you would know. You're like Souness. What's Pogba up to? You've really got a question. What has Pogba done here? But I think Conte's ended. It's going to Italy, isn't he?
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be Inter. I think Inzaghi's safe there. I don't really know what's going on in Juventus ever. That's just a general rule of thumb.
Interesting point of view.
Pioli go the other way?
Maybe.
Where does Pioli go though?
I don't know, but they got smacked down by Udinese the other night.
Yeah. That wasn't really surprising though. Milan have been so inconsistent this year.
You think they've gone from last year winning the Scudetto to this year just being nowhere? I know Napoli been good, but they're not even second best, Milan.
Do you think maybe if Conte hadn't gone to Tottenham, he'd be at a bigger club right now?
Yeah.
Could he have ended up at I don't know, would Atleti be eyeing him up for the end of this year?
Maybe.
Diego Simeone leaves.
PSG.
I mean, they could bring him in anyway. They could still trust in Conte.
Oh, Gaudio.
Christoph Gaudio. He won't go anywhere yet unless they throw away the league.
So where's Poch?
Unemployed.
Could he come back to Tottenham?
Well, this has been discussed, hasn't it?
I look at it and go...
back. I could see it. I think it makes sense.
Yeah, he took them to the Champions League final. But that's the problem with Tottenham. Even in their best year in the Premier League, they still lost to Leicester.
Yeah. That is the...
And don't get me wrong, that Ranieri's team was just unstoppable. They're brilliant. Jamie Vardy was the best player in the world. Indeed.
I think we've reached a nice conclusion for this show. Antonio Conte should not be sacked by Tottenham yet. No point wasting the money. It's not going to happen. Levy loves his money. Conte is just going to sit there and collect his paycheck. No, it's going to be a pointless last few weeks for Tottenham. If you're a Tottenham fan, it's going to be a tough end to the season.
Yeah.
Just support someone else for a couple of months because there's nothing going to happen for Tottenham until June, July. Yeah. But then maybe you can get excited, or maybe, like every year, you won't be able to. But anyway, that is the end of today's show. If you have enjoyed, make sure to get involved in the comments down below. I'm sure a lot of you have thoughts on today's discussion. We'd love to hear from you guys, and of course, get involved in the comments down below with you guys. So yeah, please do leave some comments, engage with each other. We love seeing these little conversations emerging in the comments. It's always great to see. But yeah, and of course, if you are new, hit that subscribe button, hit like as well. That helps push it out to new people and the people on Spotify. There's loads of fun buttons that do fun things like downloading and hitting that follow button and rating us 5 stars if you've enjoyed today's show. But that's all from us today. Thank you all very much for watching or listening, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.